Hello everyone, Spit here, back in with our Marvel Content Champion. Today we're going over our buff concept. This one being about like almost a week late, so yeah, sorry about that. Just been working, carrying stuff for my grandmother because she's moving. And yeah, just also had work, so yeah, a lot of time not recording videos, but yeah, finally got around to doing our buff concept because I am due for a buff concept, and I think either tomorrow or the next day I'll be doing a champion concept. Just try to get that Thursday, because I tried getting these on Thursdays, but life happens sometimes. And yeah, today being the Wolverine concept. So Wolverine is a champion I want buffed so bad. Like, he's a fine champion, but I think without the Apox energy he's kind of mid. And with X23 winning the champion buff vote earlier this year, we know she's going to be getting buffed later next year. And I just want to show some love for the original Wolverine. Also, I cut myself when I was working cleaning a deli slicer, and it reminded me of like Wolverine's claws, so that's fun. But as always, these are purely fan-made and are not official, leaked, real, etc. This was just for fun, and I swear I didn't use this as an opportunity to flip you guys off. I actually have a cut. But anyway, my goals for the champion is I want to be a strong bleed attacker that gets stronger as the fight progresses, because I think how Wolverine works is, you know, he needs to have like kind of like a rage mechanic, and then you could trigger the Berserker rage, which, as you can see, I have rage stacks and the Berserker rage, and he's going to be super unblockable, which, if you don't know what super unblockable is, you know how like some champions can block unblockable attacks? Well, this is just kind of another layer on top of it, which makes it so that like you just can't block the attack whatsoever, even if you can block unblockable attacks, because it's super unblockable. And I forgot to put it here, but of course I'm going to keep his regen, because, you know, Wolverine is known for his regeneration. Now, for his always active, Wolverine's animal instincts and nature renders him immune to tranquilize and sleep. So this is going to be really good for fighting characters like Arnim Zola and Mantis and anyone that puts on tranquilize, because tranquilize can be super annoying, especially if you're a debuffed based champion. Which Wolverine's going to be. So yeah, Tranquilize will just not work on him, and then yeah, Sleep, can't sleep him. Also he has a passive called Bright Target, which Wolverine in his classic yellow suit draws aggression. This inflicts a permanent taunt debuff at 40% on the opponent at the start of the fight. If it is removed or purified, it gets replaced with a passive taunt with plus 20% increased potency, and this reapplies every 10 seconds if removed in some other way. So yeah, they should always be taunted, and then if they have a way around it, it can just get reapplied. But you know, this just ties into like the reasoning why he has such a bright, like, unique suit. Is just because he has all this regeneration, and the adamantium skeleton makes him basically indestructible. He just kind of he basically is like, hit me, not the X-Men. So I thought that would be really cool to integrate into his kit now. And he also has another passive, Indomitable Feral Fury, which, while attacking, Wolverine cannot be KO'd by damage over time effects. So I think Morbius has something like this, where it's like he could still be KO'd by like normal attacks, but not by damage over time effects. If he is attacking, he cannot be KO'd, which means he could also probably heal from it and buy himself a little extra time as well. So it's just a nice little like a really nice piece of utility for sustain. So he's also going to have snicked attacks, and snicked, if you don't know, is just like the onomatopoeia for when he like pops his claws out in the comics. And snicked attacks are his mediums and first light attack, which they all inflict 3 severe bleeds on the opponent, dealing X damage over 4 seconds. So yeah, they're going to be pretty hefty bleeds, but they're going to be pretty short bleeds, so they're actually going to benefit a lot from deep wounds more than like other characters. And if the opponent has any active armor up effects, they can replace with just regular bleeds, and they have reduced potency by 40%. So yeah, you know, because tech is the class advantage of mutant, of course there's going to be like a little bit of like restrictions or something like that when going up against tech champions, which primarily have armor up. And also, when a severe bleed expires or is purified, it has a 30% chance to inflict a permanent wounded passive. Wounded reduces critical resistance by X and increases bleed potency by 7.5% at a max stack of 25. So I did the math, and once you have 25 of these woundeds up, you're going to be hitting, like, your bleeds are going to increase their potency by almost 200%. It's like 187%, I believe. So yeah, you're going to be like doubling or tripling your bleed damage. over the course of like a really long fight. So he's actually going to be pretty good in like stuff like Necropolis, especially if he was to ever be at like a rank 3, rank 4 level, even rank 2 possibly. And then yeah, he can also reduce the crit resistance as well, which will make his crits hit even harder. And also for his basic attacks, so the basic attacks and when struck is basically staying the same, where when he strikes the opponent, he can gain a regeneration buff, regenerate 4% of his max health over X seconds, and when he is struck, he has a 10% chance to gain a regeneration buff, regenerating 8% of his max health over X seconds. So yeah, the regeneration is going to be a little bit more nerfed, but the regeneration you have when you're getting hit, that's probably going to stay around the same, just because you're probably not going to be wanting to get hit. That's more so for defense, but you also still have the regeneration for offense. It's just a little bit weaker at 4% instead of 8%. And he also does not have another passive with his Primal Tracker. So Wolverine's strong sense of smell and tracking allows him to follow a blood trail. Each time Wolverine inflicts 5 bleeds on the opponent, he fuels his trail meter by 1 at a max of 10. Each blood trail charge makes his attacks 2.5 times faster and lasts X seconds, which expires 1 at a time. So this is actually going to be a pretty unique ability that I don't think any champion has right now. And it's just going to make him faster up to, what is it, 25, it's 25% faster, like his animation wise. So he's going to be able to hit faster. And this could potentially allow him to weave in extra combos as well. And even allow him to like punish special attacks that aren't punishable. So like things like War Machine Special 1, it's not punishable, but possibly with Wolverine being that he's going to be able to speed up his animations, you could potentially punish unpunishable special attacks like even Punisher 2099. And these will expire 1 at a time. And the trail meter and blood trail charges pause when Wolverine is close to the opponent. So yeah, another reason why you just want to go for like medium, light, medium, just stack on as many bleeds as possible, just so you could also increase your blood trail and make you attack even faster. And this will just also allow Wolverine to get fights down a lot quicker as well because he's attacking faster. He also has a passive called Caged Animal, where Wolverine becomes passively unblockable and unstoppable for 2 seconds upon striking a cornered opponent. Unstoppable pauses while the opponent is striking him, and he regenerates 60% of damage received, and this has a 10-second cooldown. If Wolverine is struck while unstoppable, he gains a rage stack, increasing both attack and special attack rating by X. And speaking of rage stacks, this is how you trigger the Berserker Rage. So however many rage stacks you have is going to benefit you for Berserker Rage. Because for Berserker Rage, Wolverine builds up his rage throughout the fight. Using a special attack puts him in the Berserker Rage for 2.5 seconds per rage stack consumed. While Berserker Rage is active, Wolverine is passively unblockable and gains plus X attack rating and special attack rating for each rage stack consumed. If Wolverine were to gain rage stack while in Berserker Rage, he pauses Berserker Rage for 2.5 seconds. So essentially how you want to do is you want to just like play around with Caged Animal, try to build as many rage stacks as possible, and then once you're ready, you just activate a special attack and that puts you into Berserker Rage. Now going into the special attacks and what they do other than put you into Berserker Rage. So for the special one, this is going to make him a really good bullseye counter, where Wolverine removes any EV charges, and if so, he gains 2 rage stacks. So yeah, he's going to be able to ramp up super quickly against characters like Bullseye that have like evade charges. He's not going to be good against like people that can just passively evade, but if they have like a passive evade buff or something like that, then he will remove that, and he'll gain rage instead. And also it says any, so it's not limited to 1. If they have multiple evade charges or evade passes, stuff like that, he'll gain 2 rage stacks for each one removed. So if they have 3, he'll gain 6. And so yeah, it's going to allow him to ramp super quickly against certain characters. It's a little bit more niche, but it's definitely helpful, especially with how annoying Bullseye can be. And also, if used while in Berserker Rage, he lifesteals 1.75% of damage dealt for each bleed on the opponent is suffering from. So you could stack up your bleeds pretty consistently, get probably like a couple medium, light, medium combos in before they start to go away. And you could lifesteal a good chunk, because if you have like 9 or 6 bleeds, that's almost 2% per bleed. So, God, doing math on the spot, give me a moment. That's like almost 18% or 12% of damage you dealt, you just gain back, which can also be increased with masteries like what's the one that increases your regeneration by like 15%. That's the one that would pair really well with Wolverine, of course. And for the special 2, Wolverine gains a vicious passive, increasing the potency of damage over time effects by X% for X seconds. And yeah, this is gonna once again just make him hit super harder with his bleeds. And this attack is super unblockable, increases the potency of Berserker Rage by 3% per rage stack. So yeah, if you want to go into Berserker Rage, you probably want to use the special 2, just because it's going to be a bigger, better Berserker Rage than if you were to use the special 1. But you know, if it's a short fight, just go for the special 1. If it's a more medium fight, go for the special 2. And yeah, for longer fights, you can maybe go for the special 3, because you gain a massive cruelty buff, where it increases crit damage rating by X for 16 seconds. And yeah, I don't really have the value for how big of a cruelty this would be, but I'm assuming it would be pretty darn big, because also it is paused during Berserker Rage and for 0.25 seconds after landing a hit. So you can keep this paused for a good amount of time and turn that 16-second cruelty into like at least 30 seconds. And also, if you have Berserker Rage active and you are able to keep that paused by continuing getting Rage, then yeah, you could just have a massive cruelty for like a majority of the fight after you use the special 3. And then yeah, you could keep going for special 2s, and then when it falls off, you reapply the special 3. But yes, Wolverine, he's just has a lot of things that will allow him to upgrade his damage output throughout the fight, and that's why another reason I think he would be good for things like Necropolis. Now for his Awakened ability. He increases the potency of regeneration effects by X to 60% while on defense. So yeah, this is going to be another reason. So yeah, this is going to keep his defensive prowess of being a defender, that if you can't stop his regen, he's kind of going to be like a brick wall. But you know, I think masters like Despair exist, and I feel like most endgame players run Despair, or at least have access to it. And yeah, it just requires, if you don't have that mastery, a specific counter, which is not that bad. You either need someone who can heal block, or who can nullify, or just reverse regen in their base kit. And Wolverine's Adamantium Claws can rip through opponent's defenses, granting him an X to X% potency pierce buff for X seconds when striking the opponent's block, and a max stack of 3. So yeah, a little nice something to do on offense. It's not just defensive based, but yeah, it can definitely make him really annoying to fight against as well. But it also gives him some utility to use on things like Evade, or anyone who's like any other node that would have you benefit from punching the opponent's block or doing block damage. But yeah, that's about it for this Wolverine buff concept. Yeah, I really hope he gets buffed after X23, and yeah, just really like this character. That's all. Let me know what you think about this concept, anything you like, anything you would change, and any other character you want me to buff in the create buff concepts for in the future, or just create champion concepts for characters that aren't in this game yet. I will also do those. And yeah, just let me know any suggestions in the comments, and I will see you guys later.